Shalom Falava family and friends, welcome to another great episode of God.Son podcast. Today, I have one of my nephew here. Y'all know him, Samuta Avea. Um, he he does it all. He's a champ here in the community. But before you leave, stop, pause, whatever you're doing, and don't forget to reset. Let's reset, rebuild, reconnect with us at this time as you take you on this journey. And just to hear the story of this young man, what an amazing journey he's been on, still going on. But welcome to the show, Samuta.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
You know, me and Samuta, I've seen this guy since he was a baby in a show and all that, but we'll get to that. But just for our fans, this is a blessing for y'all to catch Samuta. He's home for a little bit, but I'll let him introduce himself and just share a little bit about his background. Welcome to the show. I was looking forward to catch you. I know you've been traveling, coming back and forth, but first, let our fans know who you are and just a
Yeah,
little background about where you grew up in,
yeah.
please.
Samuta Avea. Um, you know, raised it here in Hola.
Mm-hmm.
Always around. Went to Koku Elementary, Koku High School. Um, like Stunna said, I grew up in the Luau. With all the boys, and really, really take pride in being raised by that village, and still being raised to this day.
Mm.
So, um, the pleasure's mine. I mean, I've been looking forward to this as well, and been following the podcast since you started it. So, really thankful for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Samuta. Man, I have so much I'm so excited because like I mentioned, I've seen this young man grow, man, from a young age and just seeing him develop so much to a fine young man. And where we at? We're at Samuta's this is his home, his ground right there. We can't show you everything. We don't want all the paparazzis to
Stop.
show up at his doorstep, but this is the jungle setting and this is how life is, right?
It is.
This is it's very simple. This is how life is. We live in the aina, in the nature, and these grounds are already being blessed.
Mhm.
So thank you for being here, allowing me to be here at your spot,
Of course. Of course.
Samuta. But we wanna dive in a little bit about just your youth, your growing up here. How was it growing up here in the North Shore?
Man, it was amazing. I mean, like you can understand.
Yeah,
You don't really know what it's like unless you've done it. You've come up through this community and this support and this, really just a big family that we have on this side of the island.
yeah,
So it was amazing. I mean, from a young age, I everybody's trying to find their way to stick out, but also just to make it in a way. And
yeah,
I was always with dad, always following him around,
yeah,
whatever we had to do for the day. So it was really cool to watch him learn how to work, what it takes, to work hard. Watching you guys build something really cool together.
thank
So
you.
just watching everything come to fruition and have a big picture and to go get it. That's
Yeah,
that's really something I learned from my dad and you and all of the boys. So I definitely saw myself being on stage for a long time. That was always
yeah.
like my vision. And you know my my legs kept growing and my arms
Mm.
kept growing and I looked kind of awkward spinning the knife. But you know
You went past all of
no,
us. You was
no.
right here. Then you were like, boop. I'm like,
It happened very fast.
like
And
in 1 year, you just went shoot up past all of us. And like, Samuta.
but at the same time it was great because everybody's yelling at me like, Soleh, go eat, like, too skinny, all of those kind of things that the harsh love that we give each
Yeah,
other here on this
yeah,
side.
yeah,
And
exactly.
learning that you don't understand why it's happening, but
Mm.
you just listen because you're taught about just respecting and listening to your elders, and very lucky to be a part of something special like that. So you know one thing led to another, and I fell in love with basketball, and
Yeah.
that's how I found a way to kind of
And,
create a path for myself. And
and you're right. You're right. Because that that path, we're gonna come back to that in a little bit, but that was we saw you grow up and you played big boys,
Yeah.
football, basketball. That was like the sports here
Mm-hmm.
in the North Shore, right?
Yeah.
And like I like what you said. Every kid is trying to find their walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find their stride. You testing out, okay, where we belong, or
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be in sports. Might
Right.
be in something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even like for girls. Now look at the girls' sports.
Yeah.
Like the girls' sport now they have
Blowing up.
rugby. Now they have
Flag
flag
football.
football,
Yeah.
and it's such a great opportunity for everyone for all these kids. And we want to go back to basketball. You know, talk to us about that time we won the state because it never had. I don't think we ever won state at
Mm.
kahuku, right? Correct me
No.
if I'm wrong.
It was the
You
first. It
know,
was the first.
how did you know that year was the year to win it all? Because you guys had a great team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it took
Mm-hmm.
to form that team and
Yeah.
to take it to another level.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting process before that because I really wanted to win one. I was also needing to find a way to get recruited at the same time. So
Yeah.
played my freshman sophomore year here. Still no offers. I made a move to Utah to live with my mom's sister.
Yes.
Had a
Yeah.
chance
Share about that.
had a chance to play on a very big platform, and nobody's flying to Hawaii to recruit basketball
Yeah.
players. So
Yeah.
it's just the situation I was in. But I was able to get some looks and some offers, and when I decided that UH was my school early on, I was like, it was no brainer to come back and play for Koku my senior year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was really exciting, and just going into that season, it felt like it's do or die. Like, this is the last chance. It's the
So when you
last
went
year.
to Utah, how was that progress? How was that growth? Because you're leaving your family to go. I mean, you're living with your mom's sister, but it must have been a big change. So you're leaving for get more exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of kids they do that now because you need to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a great point. You say there's not a big following of recruiting in basketball,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like football dominates this island, yeah.
Right.
And you made that decision to go,
Yeah. I had a close friend. His name was Noah Tongiai. He played high
yeah.
school in Utah, and
Mm.
we met. Maybe a year before, and I was talking to him about what I should do and how do I get teams to look at me, and it was just it made a lot of sense to make that move, and it wasn't easy. I was happy because I was around family still, and my cousins I'm really close to,
Mm.
but yeah, leaving dad, leaving mom, my sister, and everyone,
Yeah.
it was difficult, but when the offers started to roll in, it made it all worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so when UH started looking you when you went there,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's crazy, yeah?
Yeah, it is. Well, I was the tallest, like one of the tallest on the island,
Yeah.
so most athletic on the island, and I mean, I say
Yeah.
that humbly, but
Right, right.
it's just what my competition was.
Yeah.
So going up there and showing that I can do the same thing
You can
against
ball.
I can do the same thing against any state, any
Yeah.
ethnicity, any height, it didn't matter. So just taking advantage of the opportunity, and I had a short window to make it happen, and I'm happy it did.
And you did it, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's a great point right there, what he just mentioned, because you can look like the outstanding player, but you're pretty much a lot better than everyone around you. So
Mhm.
schools won't like, they didn't really want to take a chance because they don't know you.
Mhm.
You're not competing with some of the best.
Right.
And that's just a great point right there for kids that, trying to look,
Mhm.
to get looked, like you probably pretty much have to go to camps
Mhm.
or to get exposed to other schools.
I think it's important to mention though that that's just our job as the earlier generation.
Mm,
You yourself put in so much work. At the end of the day, we're trying to put Kuku on the map,
yeah,
however we can. And for me, that might have been leaving, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, the mission was still the same because I want them to realize, we still got it out there. Even though I
that's
moved
a
out here,
great point. That's
I
a
hope
great
I
point.
hope one day you guys
Yeah.
do recruit from Hawaii,
Right.
or kids from Hawaii. And I think the football program has proved that you know it's out here,
You can
and
compete.
exactly, and
Yeah.
kids don't have to move anymore, and a
Yeah.
powerhouse has been established now on the North Shore, and
Yeah.
all we try to do is now help them, come up and have the same experience we did.
And that is a great point because kahuku's name itself, it's a brand that you don't have to always come look at just football now,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It opens up other opportunity for other kids, and like yourself, by winning that state title, by going away and then coming back and win, kids see that, oh, Samuta had to go away
Right. Yeah.
to go develop his skills and to get looked at.
Hmm.
Maybe I can do that.
Hmm.
But as you said, the mission was still the same,
Hmm.
to represent kahuku
Yeah.
and coming back.
Right.
Coming back that year, you know, was it a different feeling coming back
Hmm.
from everything you learned in Utah?
Yeah.
Like you had to,
Definitely.
yeah, share that.
Definitely. It was interesting, like I was trying to enjoy the moment at the same time. I really missed my best friend Kessie. Like we still
Yeah,
still to this day, and
yeah,
being able to see him play his senior year of football, and being a fan in the stands for that season, and then getting to play on the basketball court with him,
yeah,
it was a dream come true, honestly, to
yeah,
to be able to come home, be there in those special moments, graduate, win a championship.
yeah.
It came with so much emotion, and to do it in front of my family, it's hard to describe what that meant to me, but it, I'll hold that memory forever.
That's history, bro. That's history to
Yeah.
Koku to win a basketball title and then share the year that you guys won down.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a great season. We placed third in the Iolani Classic. It
Mm,
was the highest ranking that a team has ever made it to in that big tournament.
yeah.
So, I mean, they always have NBA players in it, and they had
Yeah.
some that year as well. But we had a good start. We knew that it was we had what it took to win it all. So we didn't lose many games throughout the season,
Yeah.
but we lost one in preseason to Punahou. And throughout the season, we just we ran through a lot of the competition, and
Yeah.
luckily we got to meet Punahou in the state
That
championship,
was the
and
team, right?
yeah, and we got to take care of them in the
Yeah.
end. So it was a great feeling.
Man, that was amazing for the state of Hawaii and just for you guys just to put Koku on the map for that,
Yeah.
And then you went on to have a great career at UH,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
So that was a special moment for us. We got to come and on your senior day,
Hmm.
share a little bit about your experience at UH. What made you go there?
I had some tough decisions, like with where I wanted to spend my college career, but
Mm,
honestly, I think a big part of me ending up at UH had a lot to do with me wanting to spend my senior year at Kahuku. And even
nice.
though I left to be recruited by big schools, and they did come and
Yeah.
offer, but it was the experience that I wanted and the competition. So coming back to UH, it made the most sense, and
Mm,
I was so happy to play every game with my parents in the stands. And when you guys were able to make it, looking up and seeing you guys, and having the senior night that I did,
that was
it
awesome.
was amazing. And people still bring it up to me, like,
Yeah.
because I work out at the campus right
Yeah.
now, so people still mention the the haka you guys did, and they've just never seen anything like it. And even one of the players told me, he's a senior this year
Uh-huh.
on the team, one of my former teammates, and,
Oh.
and he was like, man, like, I'm not gonna have a senior night like you. That's all I know. And it makes me feel bad, but
Yeah, yeah.
at the same time, it makes me appreciate how much love and
Mhm.
emotion they were able to feel from it.
Yeah.
They felt everything that we want to give to them,
Mm.
and want to show that we're about what our people are about.
Man, it's got
So
chicken skin,
no,
man.
me too,
It's
me
got
too.
chicken skin,
And
man.
it's like, that's really the goal. It's not about, I happen to be the person on the court and my name is the one on the jersey, but
Mm.
we're all there for each other, and we all want to just uplift each other one way or another, and
Yeah.
hopefully it touches different lives from everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's really the most I can take away from that experience. And basketball just happened to be what I did on the court.
Yeah.
It was great.
And you're amazing on the court, bro. You're smooth and all that, man. You're amazing, and that was a memorable night,
Yeah,
for all of us to be a part of
it's great.
that journey, and that still will never be. You cannot top that.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, you know, UH people, reach to some of our friends, and then they reach out to me and say, "Hey, can we get some boys to do the haka?" I say,
It's not like that.
"It's not like that." So, it's not like that.
It's
We're
not
not gonna just grab people and go do a haka.
It's not the encore pukana.
Yeah. And I told them, bro, it don't work like that because they got the idea from that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people is trying to do it. I told them, it don't work like that.
Man,
No,
it's
it
a
don't.
moment.
It don't work like that. You know what I mean?
It's a moment.
There's a lot of things that go into it,
Yeah.
and that was a special time, man. That was a special time.
Very.
You know, you grew up on the show, like a lot of your friends in high school, Mason, Isaiah,
Yeah.
all the now we see you guys as grown men. I'm like, you guys are in the back hitting the drums,
Right.
you following your dad around, working the mango.
Yeah.
How was that experience as a young age? Because sometimes we don't take it in as much as we feel at a young age. Because I speak it for myself, and to appreciate those moments. How was those moments being with your dad at the luau? Did you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't get to work with their fathers or go to work with their dads.
Yeah, I know. Dang, I don't know where to start.
Yeah, no. Hey, take your time.
It takes a lot of man. How do I start? It's like you said. You probably don't take it in at that age. Those of you who know my dad and you know him very well, that he'll try his best.
Great, amazing man.
He'll try his best to make sure you get it. And that can come off harsh at times.
Yeah.
And I maybe didn't understand it for a long time.
And
but
that's love.
It is.
That's love.
And you might not realize it, but the older I've gotten.
Take your time, brother.
I've been able to really understand.
Yeah.
Maybe you can cut some of this out, just a little bit, because
this is raw footage, bro. This is what we need.
Yeah,
this is what we need. Take your time, bro.
Something you have to feel and learn.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be anything without it. Like anything. Without the show, without you, without my dad. And not because of the show, but because of everything it taught me. Because to me, my dad teaches something very different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard when you're in the moment. And it's hard for maybe you or even some of the dancers sometimes, because it's every day. You guys do it every day, and nobody can relate to that work and that grind. But for me to be able to take a step away and chase a basketball dream and come back and be able to see you guys do it.
You're good, brother.
It's it's clear to me what he was trying to teach me all my years. And it's more than dancing. It's more than hitting the drum the right way. It's more than, giving it everything. It's why you're doing it. And sometimes that's unclear as to why you need to do it. But when you move through life and you get older, it's like, we're not just dancing. We're not just drumming. It's all my childhood was trying to give out what I was born with. And that's my culture, that's my history, my ancestors, my family. So yeah, to make a long story short,
no, that's great.
Coming up in the luau really built who I am as a person, and not because it's been able to provide for my family, and that's a big part of it that I'm blessed and grateful for. But more than anything is being able to really connect with my dad and his people, and understanding what it means to be Samoan, Polynesian, even though I didn't grow up in Samoa. So
it's okay.
It's been the gift and the pleasure and the blessing of a lifetime.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. What a special moment, man. I believe vulnerability is so key, and that's something we all get to learn to express how we feel. And that is so amazing because what a great example. We don't get to do this enough
Mm-hmm.
as sharing what our parents, what they've taught, because we don't want to get looked at a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we grow up in that era that we got to be tough and all that, but just by opening up that love that you have for your father and in your family, it's amazing because your dad gave all of us a chance. Your dad gave anyone that walked to the Fia Fia dressing room, Chief Luau, you know, Chief gave life to us, gave us a chance to find our identity again. And I totally believe that. I'm a walking proof of that. I'm a walking proof of that. And I see all the men, the girls, they go have families, but we always gonna remember everything that Chief taught, and that always gonna pop in. Oh, I can hear Chief's voice in my ear, and I'm sure you can do the same
All the
thing.
time.
I hear my dad's, right?
Right.
And if you haven't been around that kind of teaching, you know, it might rub you the wrong way because you're not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's all a place of love. And you're right, it's not only the show,
Mm-hmm.
it's for your life. When we go on our own, when we walking on our own,
Mm-hmm.
we become that mouthpiece of what your dad has brought into the show.
Yeah.
We are the mouthpiece, we are everything, the way we walk, do everything. You know what I mean? And that's some of the teachings that she have taught us. It gave us life, it gave us a rebirth, a renew of everything. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for your dad. I had an amazing podcast with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I I cried too in that
Yeah.
in that one too, and like such an amazing heart of what he does, and but it's just a life teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It's hard love,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't get it, if you get offended, if you play victim to it, then that means you have stuff to work on in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You have stuff to work on yourself because they chief the old school family that they teach from they tell you suck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I get that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, I gotta shape up, then I gotta fix this,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that has helped you on your own journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now share where you at now, take us onto that journey after you age, and thank you. We just want to give shout out to Chief, an amazing man he is, and I'm blessed to be under his wing, and I'm blessed to be a part of one of his sons at the luau. So thank you, Chief. But Muta,
Yeah.
after you age,
Mhm.
basketball took you
Yeah.
playing professional in France.
Yeah, in France.
Yeah.
So the first stop was in Amsterdam, Netherlands. It was a very small club, but I dealt with some injuries throughout my career, and
Mm,
maybe had some teams that were a little skeptical as to
mm,
if I can stay healthy, if I have enough potential. So
yeah.
I went to the Netherlands, not a very high level, but I did my thing, and gosh, from there,
Mm,
halfway through the season, I had an offer from the top league in France.
mm.
So it was crazy. One morning, I woke up to the text that they want me, and that night they bought my flight, and I was practicing with the team the next day. And it was the craziest
Wow.
process that
So
I.
you're on one team,
Yes,
and
yes.
then you can leave right just like that.
Yes, I mean my
Wow, that's
my
awesome.
agent my agencies set up things to where those opportunities are possible, and
Mm,
there was a lot that had to happen paperwork wise, but other than that, I had to get on the flight, and I jumped into a practice and played against a really good team that following week, and that's when I really understood, like, okay, this is what comes with professional sports. You're
mm.
just a piece in their puzzle,
Okay.
but I was happy to be that piece because it's my dream, and I was playing
Yeah.
in front of big crowds at that point, and I played in the top league in France, Monaco and Paris and a lot of big cities, and came home and was able to sign back in France
Nice.
and enjoyed a full season with the team. This was my first full season with the
Oh wow.
team. We didn't change any players. We all kept the same group, and that chemistry allowed us to stay together and ultimately win a championship for that club. And it was the first one in history for that club. So they'd been around 20 years.
Wow. And that was the first one they ever
The
won.
first one in that for that club's history. So
Wow.
really
Congratulations.
emotional moment for that town. But it was definitely a interesting experience because everybody's speaking French and
Hmm.
you maybe can't connect with the people as much, but still I'm thankful to be playing basketball at a high level.
Wow. You went on that year, that season, then you guys played a full season and won first time championship.
Yeah, first time for that club.
Wow.
So
How was the chemistry now you guys on basketball? You guys gotta talk, do all that. So how does that work for you?
yeah, luckily the two French teams, because there's not much English in France,
Yeah.
the two teams I've played on, there's been a translator who is someone on my team, a teammate that speaks really well in French and English.
Mm,
And usually if coach is speaking in French, he'll let me know what
mm,
coach is saying. It's a very unique experience, but
yeah.
honestly, being there and learning that made me understand you know how much of a journey it must have been for my dad and you to make such a language barrier change. And it opened my eyes to, when you grow up in Hawaii, you think this is all there is, and
Mm,
experience a different life and a different language. Especially, I was like, wow, like, this is, I'm just playing basketball. Imagine, like, trying to figure out
yeah.
real life problems in a
Right,
different
right.
language. I couldn't do that. So no, a newfound respect and perspective of how crazy life is. and
Yeah.
and and that's really what I take away most from this journey and experience.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Now you're back home for a little bit. I know we've been chatting, so you're looking forward to go back and
Yeah,
are you like a free agent right
free
now?
agent right now. Yeah.
And your people are working through.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
how excited is that you're looking forward to see what happens now,
It's
right?
great. I mean, it's definitely a good feeling when you come off a championship because
Yeah.
you have that on
And I
your
think you have that on your
you
paperwork,
have that
yeah?
it's next to your name, and
Yeah.
there's not many of them. So you hope that a team trusts what you bring, and
Yeah.
having that next to your name, it's exciting to see what's to come. So just let the negotiations happen and trust everything that trust your faith, and that everything's going to happen how it should. So
Yeah. And I totally believe that, man. You deserve it. You deserve it all, man. Your work and that you trust in your faith, like you mentioned, and we're looking forward to see where Samuta goes again. You know what I mean? We're seeing you grow, and how
thank you.
big, how has your because you've been away, how has your faith or belief in the higher power has helped you in this journey? Being away from home or just taking you to another step, to another level.
Wow, very very good question. Deep deep thought. I wasn't raised in the church, but
And
around
it's
the church.
okay.
But around the church,
Yeah.
you know, my parents, growing up with different beliefs and stuff, made it, just my choice to
Mhm.
do what I felt was right. And
Awesome.
I never really, maybe committed or went all the way to choosing something. But man, being out there and getting closer to myself
I like that.
really
I
allowed
like
those
that.
thoughts to happen.
Yeah.
I was living by myself and playing in a country I had no idea, and so all you have time to do is think.
Hmm.
And I just knew I wasn't alone for some reason,
Yeah.
and I didn't know why, but I tried to get to know that feeling.
Yeah.
And the closer I got to that feeling, the closer I got to you know our Heavenly Father and the Spirit. And I don't think that without that, experience, I could
Awesome.
have continued doing what I was
Yeah.
doing, because it's fun, it's basketball, but
Yeah.
I think it's so important that no matter what we're doing, no matter where we're traveling, that we have that faith and that belief that there's
Man.
always there's always something with us. So
Man, that
It's
is so good because no, I'm not cutting you off, but we're
no,
getting both emotional because
yeah,
that's the spirit.
yeah,
That feeling you're talking about when you're away, we're feeling it right now, right? Can
yeah.
you feel that?
It's incredible.
And that's the spirit right there. And I love what you say. Your parents left it open. You didn't commit to anywhere, but you're always around great people.
Yeah,
And now being alone and finding yourself, connecting to yourself, and I totally believe, brother, that's all God's work.
yeah,
Because you see your dad work.
yeah.
Your dad is a very God fearing guy,
Yeah,
man,
very.
very spiritual guy.
Mhm.
And that feeling that we're feeling right now, in like, we're getting emotional, like, wow. And pretty much that's what we lean on when we feel alone, yeah?
Yes.
Especially when you're away, far, far away from everybody. That loneliness try to creep in, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I totally believe that is all God's work. He's
Mhm.
watching over you.
Yeah,
The angels are watching over you.
and I think it's so cool to see what you're doing with this podcast. What Matt and Solia I spoke about. He's talking about
Thank you.
how he wants to give back to his younger classmates and his younger, and there's so many different vessels and tunnels we can push this light and spirit through, and it could be the culture on stage or through the
Mm,
camera and social media and how we try to spread this message. And that's why I love this stuff, because what this podcast, and this is my first podcast, and
thank you.
it's because what it stands for, what your message is, and everything you've done. He was my football first one of my first sports coaches ever,
Yeah,
trying to teach me
yeah,
a receiver get out,
yeah, yeah.
because that's just the kind of person you are, and the
Thank
kind
you.
of spirit you want to give, and no matter how we can do that in our experiences, it's been a pleasure to learn and to find my own way to try and share that spirit on a
Yeah,
court with words, with dancing. So no, I just wanted to make sure I give you your flowers and make
thank
sure
you.
that you know how I feel about the spirit we just felt.
I
So,
receive it, brother. Thank you, thank you.
yes, sir.
And one of my the biggest 3 R's I go by is right here. It's reset, rebuild, reconnect. You know, and I want you, when you go home, you look up
Okay.
my favorite scripture right there. And reset means we can reset every day, whatever trouble that we may be going through. Maybe kneeling down or just talking to God in our own space and rebuilding that whatever is broken emotionally, spiritually, just rebuilding yourself and especially reconnecting with the higher power. And that spirit that feeling we just felt, we just reconnected again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I
Entirely.
know you felt that, right?
Absolutely.
We just reconnected again. I just wanna, man, what a
Yes, sir.
you feel that?
Yes.
That's our 3 strong R's right there. And I'm looking for, before we leave, I want to give you something. Yeah, wait. Oh yeah. And it's a small token, small gift I like to give to my guests. It's a gratitude rock. And what have here is Samuta Avea. And I put a 28, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this is the time we met. And in the back is Love Your Snuka Laulu Ainga.
Beautiful.
And this rock, simple, but I know it's powerful because there's times when we look like it seems like we have it all together on the outside.
Yeah.
But we all deal with a little emotional demon, addiction, somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Sometimes we grab to the rock and we say some grateful things, how that we are worthy.
Mhm.
If we're feeling alone, we get to grab that rock and we say some grateful things. What I do at my home, I pass the rock around before I leave work. And we get to share with my family and my daughter, and we say grateful things about each other before we leave.
It's beautiful.
So I know you travel wherever you want to put this, but it's something special from my family that I will always remember. Today is where we we got to reset,
Yes.
rebuild, and reconnect.
Thank you.
And you might have little moments here, you hold on to that rock and you say grateful things.
It's beautiful.
And also you can do it with your family, your teammates,
Mhm.
and just share them the purpose of it. So I just want to give you this, Samuta.
Thank you very much.
It's something special from us.
Thank you.
And what a great the spirit is so strong right now, you know, and I appreciate everything you do. Give our final message to
Likewise.
all the young kids out there that looks up to Samuta, because they do. They see your journey, and to give them life, give them hope,
Hmm.
you know, what they can look forward in.
Yeah. I mean, I think something I mentioned a lot is just we're very blessed to grow up in the community we're in, and listen to your parents. Never give up an opportunity to say thank you or please. It goes a long way. You know, try to do something nice every day. And I mean, if you listen to your parents and the people around you, you know, we can all we can all get to where we want to be and be happy. And yeah, that's as simple as I can put it. But you know, just very grateful for this moment and thankful for you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Samuta. Well, family, hope you enjoyed that, man. I know y'all felt that spirit today, and that is something where we get to redo here at the Gets Done podcast, you know, where we get to reset, rebuild, and reconnect. Samuta Avea, I'm looking forward to seeing where you go from here, and congratulations to all your success.
Thank you.
You know, the young man you become, and you know, we love you. We've seen you grow from a young kid. Now you pass all of us, but your spirit is amazing.
Oh,
And I
thank
know
you.
you come from a great family. Your dad, your mom, your sister, and everyone around you, the Avea family. So just want to let you know we love you, and
Love
we
you
continue to support you in all we
always.
do. Yeah.
Likewise.
Family and friends, this is the Get Done podcast, and we out.
Sir.
Oh man.
Amazing. Thank you.
Oh, love you,
Really
brother.
enjoyed that. Love you too.
That was awesome.
Man, I was so excited for that. That's